Hi, it's Talking Reds. I'm Sexton. I'm joined today by Craig Hannan on this Tuesday morning in Liverpool. And Craig, I feel like we're in a bit of a void between the Arsenal game and the Porto game. I'm not going to lie, I'm still a bit drunk off the celebrations of the Arsenal game in general. So I wanted to talk about a few of the lads who made the bench in that game, and let's sort of wring the last of that glorious win for Liverpool out of it. And I want to talk about Tyler Morton first of all, because I think there's a strong chance at the moment that he could play against Porto in the week. And I just thought the other day was such a nice little moment, to be honest, and I don't think you often get these in football in general much anymore. You do with Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp. We're sort of lucky to be able to say, but it stood out to me the reaction of Tyler Morton in the aftermath of that game, just how made up he was to come on for Liverpool, and coming on for Thiago, and like every little aspect of it was just
every detail.
Boss.
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? And it's one of those moments you enjoy in the crowd. It gives you like that sort of extra lift. You're winning 4-0. You get to see a young kid make his debut. All of his mates will be in the crowd. His dad will be in the crowd. And his family will sort of be watching. I think he's from the world, isn't he? So he's a Merseyside lad, and like how much that'll mean to him will just be incredible. And the fact that it is, he's coming on for Thiago is something. The big hug of Jurgen Klopp before. I love that photo that's going around social where he's just holding and grabbing him just before he's about to come on, and then. He gets on the pitch and he gets a few touches. I always think when young players come on late on in the game, like, just please get a couple of touches of the ball, because imagine you come on, you're like, I didn't touch it though, but he did. He looked calm, composed, and made up for him. I think he's going to get minutes here. Given our injury, sort of, I don't know if it's a crisis just yet, but given the fact that we've got such a long list at the moment, the fact that we've got Porto at home, which sort of feels like a game he maybe gets to go in just because of our hands being a little bit tied, but also the fact that the home crowd will be behind. It'll feel a little bit like the Shrewsbury game in the Cup. I know it sounds mad to compare Shrewsbury and Porto, but you know what I mean in terms of the feeling that we don't necessarily have to win. There'll be young players, there'll be a bit of a sort of makeshift team, but the crowd will get behind them, I think.
I think one of the only problems with it is that if you play Tyler Moore, and I think they'll probably go with Oxlade-Chamberlain again as well, you probably have to play one of the adults from that point then, and that's maybe Fabinho, you think?
Oh, see, this is the thing. He's the one footballer that I'd be saying, like, wrapping cotton wool. Do not let him on the pitch here. There's a few sort of aspects.
Milner, if he's fit.
Yeah, well, if he's fit, but I'm not sure he'll be ready to play. I know a lot of people have been saying about, like, I just play Morton in the 6, but he's not a 6, is he?
No,
like, he doesn't play 6 for the 21s, or through any sort of age group. He's more of an 8 or maybe even a 10. You've watched him a lot more than I have, but I know when we watched him at the 19s game earlier in the season, he looked great, but he wasn't a 6. No. He wasn't doing the Fabinho role.
The club must have seen something, to be fair, like the first team staff must have seen something in him which makes him sort of identifiable as a 6 in their system. I think, under 23s level's different, that you sort of see with the under 23 squad the other day. They're playing like left backs in the front three on the right wing and stuff like that. So that it's all a bit sort of more mad down there, I would say. But the club have clearly identified something in him. I was laughing at the Sisters Anfield article before when you mentioned about the Klopp hug, because they've put like this big headline about what Jurgen Klopp told Tyler Morton for his Premier League debut, and it's basically what you were just saying there about, like, come on, get touches, calm it down a bit, and give the ball to the good lads.
I could do Jurgen shoves, you know what I mean? I'd have thrown Conor Bradley on just. No, I think the thing about tomorrow night is Porto really need a result. Like, it's a huge game for Porto. They're sort of handily placed in second place, only 1 point ahead of Atletico, and so like it's a huge game for them, and they'll sort of be going here thinking, well, Liverpool are going to be resting players. With us being through, there's a chance that they beat us, and they'll want to do that, especially after the fucking beatings that we've given them over the years. This might be the one chance.
Yeah, I've seen Cade Gordon warming up for the Reds the other night as well. I think it's been a tough few months for him since he sort of made his first team debut, because he's had a few injuries. He's not been playing much for the under 18s or 23s. He's sort of come back a little bit recently, and then has been thrown straight back into the first team picture. I think he would be one of the ones I'd have as a shoe-in for this. I think Tyler Morton is a bit of a shoe-in, but I think I'd have Cade Gordon as like an almost certain starter as well.
I think there's something around Cade Gordon that I read where he's on a list that he actually isn't. He's not eligible for this game.
Oh, really?
I'm almost certain. I mean, we should have checked this between the two of us. If someone can, am I right? Fuad saying I'm right. Yeah. The crowd are saying I'm right. I'm sorry. I'd love to have seen Cade Gordon.
That is a shame.
Yeah, it is a real shame. And again, to go back to the 19s game that we watched earlier in the season before he did get injured, he was head and shoulders above the rest, wasn't he, in terms of both the Liverpool youngsters and the Milan ones. He was excellent, and look, we've been so excited by him. He looks as if he has like sort of all the aspects of his game that can make him a real top player. He's so young, and this would have been a great opportunity for him. I'm sure it's so frustrating for him, by the way. Like you say, he's had a sort of a rough few weeks or month or so since that Norwich game.
Yeah, I'm just reading this here on the Echo's website. It says UEFA rules dictate a club can select an A list of up to 25 players, of which at least 8 are what the governing body regard as being locally trained. Clubs are also entitled to register an unlimited number of players on List B during the season, with players eligible if born on or after January 1st, 2000. That sort of suggests that he would be, though, because he's born in like 2003 or something daft, which makes me feel really old. Makes him definitely feel very young.
I think I feel.
You are an actual old man, Craig. We'll move on then to Owen Beck next. I think he was also on the bench during the Arsenal game the other night. I probably wouldn't be playing him in this one personally. I think this is probably an opportunity to give Tsimikas another go. If you're just looking at sort of resting Robertson for the next few games, then you maybe work Robertson towards a return against Southampton on Saturday. I think Tsimikas for me has been like massively impressive. I thought he was so good again against Arsenal. I thought he gave their left back an absolutely torrid time, and I think Tommy Asu's had a great season for Arsenal as well. So I was pleased to see that personally. But if Owen Beck does get the chance, and he's sort of shown in his little handful of appearances that he's more than capable as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mostly just want to talk about Tsimikas here, but I'm not going to. No, he was brilliant at the weekend. I think you're right. I think he needs to sort of find the rhythm, and I feel as if he's now got our trust. He's now sort of got the confidence, and hopefully be able to push on. And he's a brilliant option there at left back. We've now got 2 super left backs. In terms of Beck, like he's probably the one from the pre-season that I was most surprised by in terms of like how well he did. Like he looked brilliant, and I was mostly looking out for Bradley because he's Northern Irish, but Beck really sort of stood out, I thought, and like you say, I don't think he gets this one. I think just being on the bench, it's a Champions League game. Like this isn't the League Cup. It's playing Porto in a Champions League game, and it's at Anfield. It's on the lights, all the hits. So he'll be, I'd imagine he'll be made up just to be on the bench.
I decided to save the best to the last player because I know we could probably go on about this for the next 15 minutes. Weak on Bradley.
I think I don't see him starting. I think Nico Williams gets the start. Surely, you'd think.
Yeah.
I think we might see him towards the end of the game.
Nico Williams hasn't been fit though. That's why he wasn't on the bench.
So then I think it all depends on that really. And if so, then he might. I just don't think it's going to be as. I don't think he's going to go as wild as we think. He's not going to go pure League Cup here. I think Liverpool
you think back to the Midtjylland game, don't you? Where he
Jota.
Yeah.
This is why
borderline
this is my Fabinho stance. Is like, do not let Fabinho anywhere near this game. That's my non-negotiable for Jurgen. Play Henderson the 6. That's what I would do actually. And I think with Bradley, I think. He had like a strange Norwich game where he looked really good going forward, and then he obviously had the mistake. And I think on the whole, sort of mostly we were sort of we were happy with his performance. I think going by sort of online, I feel like I'm biased on any of this, but I think that was a while ago now for Bradley, and Bradley's been in 3 international squads now. He's played international football, and I think that's something that like gives him that edge. I mean, he's playing for a shite international team.
Whoa.
We are crap. But what that gives him is it gets him in different squads. It gets him playing men's football on the international stage against different kinds of teams, not just in England and not just at under 23 levels. So I think that'll really help him his progression. I just don't think he starts tomorrow. I think if he's going to get anything, he maybe comes on if we're winning or if we need to sort of rest anyone else.
Yeah, just reading through a few of the comments here. There was a Tyler Morton ultra shot from Scott McCauley, which I'm fully on board with. Steve C, who has a little tour badge next to his name. Does that mean he's a member of the channel? There's a join button in the description. You can click it. That makes you a member of the channel, so you can get that little cool tour badge like Steve C does. He says Oakley Cannoneer is the closest thing I've seen to Robbie Fowler since. Robbie Fowler, he's in the champ squad. Give him a start. Why not? I'd be a little bit worried about that, Steve. I'm not going to lie. He is absolutely tiny. He's literally tiny. He must be about 5'2".
He came off the 19s in that game as well, and he was wee. He was really wee. I have a thing on this, and I feel like it's not really what people want to hear, but you can't just throw someone like that from, where is he at? Is he easy 18s at the minute, isn't he? You can't just throw him from 18s in and just sort of hope. And I know that Robbie Fowler and
did it with Harvey Blair. I mean, And then you saw what happened.
There's a huge step up there, and it's gonna. You don't want to throw them in and you know them have a bad game or them be taken off at half time, or you know them leave the pitch with their head down. You want them to sort of enjoy the experience and be ready for the experience, and then want more, not worry about the next time that they're going to get the chance. And I think that's the thing. We just all have to sort of be patient and remember that like there's a huge step up between not just youth football but under 23s football, and then the Champions League against Porto. It's just not, you know, this isn't the League Cup against Norwich either, and he wasn't getting anywhere near it then. So, and this is my thing with Tyler Morton. I'm excited about him. I don't want us to sort of almost put too much pressure and say, well, he's going to play here, he's going to play Milan in the San Siro, because like again, that's a completely different kettle of fish, isn't it? That's a completely different experience, because he's got the home crowd here and everyone will get behind him. And I think the crowd actually, given the fact there's loads of tickets about, there'll be kids, there'll be a lot of sort of different people that maybe haven't got the chance to get to games this season or whatever, will be going to the match. Given the fact that we will see a couple of youngsters, I think that lifts the crowd. It adds like a different edge. There's something exciting about the League Cup this season because we get to see all these young lads, and so I'm really excited too. I just don't think you can just go, oh yeah, he's done well, throw him in. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a progression, and there's a, has he even trained with the first team? Him?
I'd imagine he probably has. To be fair, they seem to be throwing loads of them in, so I would say he's probably been in and around it during internationals and that kind of thing. Well, as I mentioned before, we're still sort of soaking up the glory of the Arsenal win. So here's a little clip from our Bacon Butty show where the lads talk about our left backs.
The way he spread passes about Celtic Park, which is a big
Jamaica hasn't got a bad record now either, has he? I think we're 21-0 in games that he started so far.
Honestly, the best thing you can say about him is we don't miss Robbo.
Yeah, and that's what we've been crying out for so long, and that's why I don't understand the debate over, is he first choice now or something? We're crying out for a bit of competition, someone to give Robbo a rest, and now we've got it. It's like we can't cope, we need to decide who's better, rather than just enjoy them both.
Yeah, just enjoy them both, because we're going to see them both play all season. So let Robbo rest, because he's played, I think in the last 2 years, 5,000 minutes or something daft. I saw a stat comparing his minutes to Jordan Henderson's minutes before Henderson basically took a dip because of the amount of football he played. Robbo's playing a ridiculous amount of football. A lot of it high pressure, and captain in his country.
I think the Scotland stuff really does take it out of him, not just physically but emotionally as well. It's like it's a lot, isn't it? And obviously like they keep sticking these games. I read something this morning. It wasn't what I wanted. I wasn't even out of bed yet, and I got cross with international football. Brazil have snuck in 2 games in January.
Oh, for Christ.
So basically, I don't think they'll miss any Liverpool games. But when we've meant to have this winter break in England, Brazil have gone, oh right, Premier League doing that, are they? Boom.
Yeah, we'll have these lads. They won't have a rest at all. They'll just keep playing.
So it's during the African Cup of Nations, same time as that, like Brazil have just thrown 2 games in.
Well, thank God it's only Alisson and Fabinho, and they're not really important to us,
Well, Fabinho as well, if he gets picked.
Well, if Firmino's fit and gets picked, and you hope to God he's fit by then, but it is only 6 weeks off.
I think there's a few audio issues there within our break, within our clip, but it's still good content. So if you do want to subscribe to the Anfield Wrap, head over to theanfieldwrap.com/subscribe for more of that kind of thing where the audio is good, I promise. Want to shout out Amajit here because he said Josh's jumper is wavy and he is Belinda's brother, is it? Yeah. Brother, and Belinda's on work experience with us this week. So shout out to Amajit. That's getting the sell in there, Craig. Mo Salah chasing more awards. Him and Alisson have been nominated for this FIFA the Best thing, which I still don't particularly understand, but I'm just going to go along with it anyway. Yeah. And he also won an award at the Northwest Writers Football Awards last night as well as Player of the Season. I just wanted to have another opportunity to talk about Mo Salah, to be honest. Like I keep thinking about that touch at the weekend, the touch where
there's 2 of them. Yeah. Everyone keeps talking about the touch that's
I'm on about the one where it comes over his head. Yeah.
That's like poetry. It's almost like a bit Zidane-esque. Remember the Zidane against Porto, where like he's on the turn, so it makes it so much harder when he brings it down his chest. You've seen all that. Don't give me that shit. But it was like that, wasn't it? It's the fact that it's on the turn and he pulls it down almost. It's perfect, isn't it? But there was 2 of those. Like I feel as if he's like Salah's a footballer where now I'm laughing out loud at things he does on the football pitch, and we had that with Suarez. We did have that with Suarez in a way, but I mean Salah's just at another level now. What he's doing, I think it's like double the amount of goal involvements to the second place in the Premier League. I think Mikel Antonio's got like 9 and he's got 18. 11 goals, 7 assists. He's just gone way beyond it, and I don't know like this is, I think that obviously this is only the start for him in terms of awards he wins this season. I mean, I wonder what he does with all his awards. You know, all the ones that he was winning like 2018 and the ones he's won since then. Like, has he got a room? Like,
it'd be nice to have like an awards room, wouldn't it? I can imagine a whole room with just all your awards. That'd be sound.
One day I'm gonna have like a marketing awards room. Do you know what I mean? What a really boring room. But yeah, he's just incredible now, and he's just doing things where I swoon watching him.
Yeah, well, I swoon watching Alisson Becker. I feel like we should give him an honourable mention for being nominated in this FIFA Best Team. He's just unreal as well, isn't he? It didn't feel like he's had much to do over the last sort of couple of games. He makes a couple of mistakes in the West Ham game and you know, gets sort of rightly criticised for those mistakes, but you don't want to criticise the overall because he's been so important to Liverpool for so long, and he is the best goalie in the world in my eyes.
He is the best. I would like all of these footballers. Like when you're talking about footballers throughout the Liverpool side, there's none of them that you would swap for anyone else, and that's the thing that I always think. And you know, if we build them up, we have to sort of talk about when they've made a mistake. And Alisson himself will be, you know, they'll have gone through that with his goalkeeping coach, you know, Akterberg and the others, and they'll have talked about what he's did wrong. I know he did like the Instagram post, so he might feel aggrieved about some of the refereeing decisions, but you know, he'll be his own biggest critic. And you know, look, at not one stage against Arsenal was I worried or did I think that he wasn't going to be able to pull us out of a hole if needs be, like he's done so many times this season. By the way, I don't think it's been just talked about how many sort of big game-defining saves that Alisson Becker's made in moments where a game could pivot this season. And yeah, he's top of the class, and he's the best in the world.
And Harvey Elliott won the Northwest Football Writers Young Player of the Year as well. That's good, isn't it? And it's sort of it's quite nice, the idea that he's, you know, his return's just around the corner. I think we get to a point where hopefully these injury issues in midfield subside, and then Harvey Elliott comes back as well. It just feels like it adds that other dimension, and he has been so good for this season. It's nice to see that being recognised as well.
Yeah, it is. And it was nice to sort of see him thank Blackburn as well for like his progression.
Spoke
there.
really well.
Yeah, he did. We should get him on if you're watching. I know he watches like some of these things, doesn't he? And yeah, no, you're right. I think that's like one of the sort of sour points of the season, that we haven't been able to watch him play after that sort of exhilarating start for him in the first few games we played. But it's great to see him getting recognised. I mean, Sepp van den Berg as well was on the list for that at Preston. Again, like another footballer that's out on loan and hopefully comes back a much better player.
Yeah, I'm just reading through a few of the comments here. John Doyle says he hopes Cometio gets run out against Porto. I think Cometio is an absolute million miles off it, to be honest, John, which is a bit of a shame because he looked really promising at one point. Michael Manning has been on, he says, higher from Milan. on his way home from New York is our Michael, getting a love heart there as well. Are those the new tour hats on the table, Michael asks? Well, Michael, it's funny you should say that because they are. You can't actually really see them when they were laid down, but these are the new tour hats. I believe some of these are on sale now, are they?
They are. So we've got a sale on our shop, Red Friday week or something like that, something along those lines. We're taking the piss out of the sale. Really, it's meant to be Friday, but we've gone all week because that's what you asked for last year. But yeah, you can get. I think we've got these two in stock at the moment. These ones will be back in stock soon. You might be able to pre-order them, but yeah, it's 20% off everything in the shop. All the t-shirts, the bubble hats, any merch. Subscriptions aren't 20% off, but still buy those for people at Christmas.
Absolutely, yeah. A lovely gift for the red in your life at Christmas. I think we're done, are we?
Yeah, that'll do, yeah.
Up the Reds.